Welcome to Fractured Chaos.
They say love is blind, but damn. Mine was wearing a blindfold, noise-canceling headphones, and had its sense of smell surgically removed. My name's Jerome, and I'm about to tell you how I spent 6 months dating Jackie, the love of my life, only to discover that Jackie was actually Jack, and not in a I'm transitioning way. In a I've been pretending to be a woman to win a bet way. Yeah, let that sink in. It all started at my cousin's wedding. There I was, single as hell, watching my cousin Marvin marry the woman of his dreams while I scrolled through dating apps like they were going to magically produce my soulmate. And then, across the dance floor, I saw her. 5'10", curvy in all the right places, with this confidence that just radiated across the room. Jackie. She was wearing this red dress that hugged her body like it was custom made, and she walked like she owned the place. I remember thinking, damn, those are some broad shoulders for a woman. But you know what they say, the bigger the shoulders, the better they can carry your emotional baggage. Nobody says that. Just me, alright. So I went up to her, right? Used my best pickup line. Are you a parking ticket? Because you've got fine written all over you. Yeah, I know, terrible. But Jackie laughed, and not that fake laugh women do when they're being polite. It was this deep, genuine laugh that made me feel like the funniest man alive. We danced all night. Her hands were kind of rough, but I figured she must work with them. Maybe a sculptor or something artistic. Turns out those hands were rough from years of construction work. As Jack. After the wedding, we started dating. Jackie was perfect. She never took forever to get ready. She loved sports. She could drink me under the table, and she never complained about my apartment being a mess because, and I quote, I've seen worse in the men's locker room. I should have caught that slip up, but I was too busy being amazed that I'd found a woman who didn't mind my Star Wars collectibles. Jackie always wore these scarves, even in the summer. Said it was a fashion statement. I just thought it was quirky, like how she never wanted to go swimming, or how she disappeared to the bathroom for like 30 minutes before bed to do her extensive skincare routine. Her makeup was always flawless though, never smudged, even after a night out. Once, I joked that she must glue it on, and she got real quiet. Now I know why. 3 months in, things got weird. We were having dinner at this fancy restaurant, and the waiter kept calling Jackie, Sir. I was ready to make a scene about respecting women, but Jackie just calmly corrected him with, It's ma'am, then winked at me and whispered, Some people just can't see past the Adam's apple. I laughed it off. An Adam's apple. Good one. Except, it wasn't a joke. It was a test to see if I'd noticed. I hadn't. I was too distracted by her perfume, which I later found out was Axe body spray mixed with vanilla extract. Resourceful. I'll give Jack that. Now here's where I did something stupid. Instead of just asking Jackie what was up, I decided to surprise her at her apartment. She'd never invited me over. Always had an excuse. Plumbing issues, renovations, roommate problems. I was tired of always hanging at my place, so I had to get creative. One night after dinner, Jackie left her purse on my couch when she went to the bathroom. I'm not proud of this, but I went through it and found her keys. There was this bright pink keychain with Apartment 407 written on it, and an address I didn't recognize. Before she came back, I snapped a quick picture with my phone. The ultimate detective work, right? Or just straight up stalking. Depends who you ask. 2 days later, I decided to execute my master plan. I told Jackie I had to work late, bought a huge bouquet of roses, and headed to the address on that keychain. The building was nice, one of those renovated lofts downtown where all the young professionals live. I sweet-talked the doorman, flashing the picture of Jackie's keys. I'm surprising my girlfriend, I told him with a wink. He smiled and buzzed me in. That's security in 2025 for you. A smile and a good story will get you anywhere. I took the elevator to the 4th floor, found apartment 407, and knocked. I was standing there grinning like an idiot, flowers behind my back when the door swung open. But instead of Jackie with her perfect makeup and flowy dresses, there was this dude, stubble, muscle shirt, basketball shorts, looking like he just got off the couch from playing video games. I asked if Jackie was home, and he looked confused as hell. Jackie? No Jackie here, man. Just me, Jack. I was about to apologize for the wrong apartment when I glanced past him, and that's when I saw it. The red dress. The red dress from the wedding, hanging over a chair, and right next to it, a wig stand with long black hair that looked awfully familiar. My eyes darted around the apartment. Pink keychain on the counter, Jackie's favorite perfume on the shelf, and framed on the wall, a construction company award for Jack Thompson. Same last name as Jackie. So I did what any rational person would do. I pretended I had the wrong apartment and ran out of there like my ass was on fire. Then I texted Jackie, Hey babe, missing you. Send me a selfie? And sure enough, 10 minutes later, there's Jackie. Perfect makeup, scarf, the works, in the background. The same apartment I'd just fled from. I should have ended it right there, but here's the thing. I really like Jackie. We had fun together. She got my humor. She never made me watch rom-coms. She could name every player on my fantasy football team. Was I really gonna let a little thing like her actually being a dude come between us? So I decided to play detective. A week after my first disastrous visit to apartment 407, Jackie suggested we have a movie night at her place. The plumbing's finally fixed, she claimed with a smile that I now recognized as slightly nervous. This was my chance. I acted cool, like I hadn't already seen her apartment, or rather, his apartment, and agreed enthusiastically. When I arrived, the place had been transformed. All evidence of Jack was meticulously hidden. The construction award moved to what I assumed was a bedroom with a firmly closed door. The wig stand? Nowhere in sight. The apartment smelled like vanilla candles, instead of the faint hints of aftershave I'd noticed on my first visit. Jackie had staged the perfect woman's apartment, right down to fashion magazines strategically placed on the coffee table. During the movie, I excused myself to use the bathroom, and that's when my real investigation began. Her medicine cabinet had shaving cream for sensitive skin, the expensive kind. The kind I used on my face, not the fruity-smelling stuff marketed for women's legs. Behind a stack of towels, I found beard oil. Who was she kidding? Later, when Jackie went to get us more wine, I quickly peeked into her bedroom. Her closet had a hidden section behind her dresses with men's clothes, jeans, work boots, flannel shirts, all shoved to the very back, partially concealed by a hanging shoe organizer. The evidence was mounting. Over the next few visits, I gathered more clues. Once, when she thought I wasn't looking, she adjusted something in her pants that no woman should need to adjust. But the smoking gun, her phone. One night while she was in the bathroom doing her skincare routine, a text popped up on her phone. Day 157 of the bet. This fool still thinks you're a woman. Easiest $10,000 I'll ever make. Marvin. My cousin Marvin. The same cousin whose wedding I met Jackie at. Apparently after I'd complained about being single at his bachelor party, he bet his groomsman, Jack, that he couldn't make me fall in love with a woman by the end of the year. But there was no woman. There was just Jack in a dress, and the worst part, I was falling in love. So I raised the stakes. I invited Jackie to my parents' house for dinner. My mom's a retired nurse, and my dad's got the most finely tuned bullshit detector in the Northern Hemisphere. If anyone could spot that Jackie wasn't Jackie, it would be them. Plus, I figured it would scare Jack off. He'd never agree to meet my parents, right? Wrong. Jackie said yes, faster than I could finish asking the question. Dinner was surreal. Jackie charmed my parents like a pro, complimented my mom's cooking, talked sports with my dad, showed them pictures of her childhood, which I later realized were probably Jack's sister's photos. At one point, my dad pulled me aside and said, "Son, you better lock this one down. Women like this don't come around often." If only he knew how right he was. Then came the real test. As we were leaving, my mom hugged Jackie goodbye and whispered something in her ear that made Jackie freeze. In the car, I asked what my mom had said. Jackie stared straight ahead and replied, "She said she knew I was hiding something, but as long as I made you happy, she didn't care what was between my legs." I nearly drove off the road. That night, I decided to end the charade. I took Jackie to the spot where we had our first date. This overlook that shows the whole city, beautiful at night. Very romantic, very private. Perfect place for a confrontation. I'd rehearsed what I was going to say. "I know you're Jack. I know about the bet, and I want you out of my life." But when we got there, Jackie seemed nervous, kept fidgeting with her purse. Before I could say anything, she took my hand and said, "Jerome, I need to tell you something, and it might change everything between us." This was it. The moment of truth. She was going to confess. Instead, she pulled out a small box and got down on one knee. A proposal from my fake girlfriend who was actually a dude trying to win a bet against my cousin. Life comes at you fast, doesn't it? I stood there, staring at this person I thought I knew. Down on one knee, holding out a ring that probably cost more than my car. And I did the only thing a sane person could do in that situation. I said, "I know you're Jack." The look on his face, like someone had just thrown ice water on a cat. Jackie stood up slowly, voice dropping an octave with each word. "How long have you known?" "Long enough," I said. "Why did you do it? Was $10,000 really worth all this?" Jack looked confused. "What 10,000? That's when the pieces fell into place. There was no bet, at least not the one I thought. Turns out Jack had lost a bet to my cousin years ago. The forfeit. He had to go to the wedding dressed as a woman, but then he met me. And apparently, I was so charming, so different from anyone he'd ever met, that he kept up the charade, not for money, but because he was falling for me too. So let me get this straight," I said. "You're a straight man who dressed up as a woman for a bet, then continued pretending to be a woman because you were falling in love with me. Another straight man, and now you're proposing? Make it make sense." Jack laughed. That same genuine laugh that made me fall for him in the first place. "I didn't say I was straight. And I don't think you are either, Jerome. Not if you've been ignoring all the signs because you liked being with me." He had a point. A terrifying, identity crisis-inducing point. So there I was, standing on an overlook with the person I'd been dating for 6 months, who I just discovered was not who they said they were. Being told that I might not be who I thought I was either. Talk about an existential crisis. I did what any mature adult would do. I turned around, got in my car and drove away, left Jack standing there with the ring, blocked his number, avoided my cousin. Told everyone Jackie and I had broken up because of irreconcilable differences. Technically true. For 2 weeks I couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. Kept replaying every moment with Jack in my head. The laughs, the conversations, the connection. Was it all fake? Was any of it real? And the question that really kept me up at night, if I knew from the beginning that Jackie was Jack, would I still have fallen for him? In a moment of what I can only describe as temporary insanity, I drove to Jack's apartment. No plan, no speech prepared. Just me, my confusion, and a desperate need for answers. He opened the door looking nothing like Jackie. Sweatpants, t-shirt, stubble, no makeup, no wig. Just Jack. And you know what the craziest part was? I still felt that same flutter in my stomach that I felt when I saw Jackie across the dance floor. "You came back," he said, like he'd been expecting me. "I need to know if any of it was real," I demanded. Jack invited me in, and we talked for hours about the bet, which was real but only for the wedding appearance. About his feelings, also real. About my sexuality, complicated. About the future, uncertain. He showed me pictures of his actual life. His job as a construction foreman, his apartment without all the Jackie touches, his family who knew nothing about his double life. It was like meeting a completely different person, except it wasn't. The humor was the same. The intelligence, the way he listened when I talked. All the things I loved about Jackie were actually things I loved about Jack. So here's the punchline to this cosmic joke. I'm dating Jack now, the real Jack. No wigs, no dresses, no pretending. Turns out, I'm not as straight as I thought. Or maybe labels are just that, labels. Maybe connection transcends all that stuff. My parents were surprisingly cool about it. My dad just shrugged and said, "Well, your mom did say there was something different about her." My mom's exact words were, "At least I don't have to worry about unexpected grandchildren." Marvin, my cousin, nearly had a heart attack when we showed up to his house for dinner holding hands. The bet was just for the wedding, he kept saying. This wasn't supposed to happen, but he's coming around. Slowly. Is it weird? Hell yes. Do people give us looks when I tell them how we met? Absolutely. But here's what I've learned. Life doesn't come with a manual. Love doesn't always make sense. And sometimes, the person you're meant to be with comes into your life in the most unexpected package. So that's my story. How I fell in love with a woman who wasn't a woman, discovered things about myself I never knew, and found happiness in the last place I ever expected to look. If there's a moral here, maybe it's this. Pay attention to the signs, ask more questions, and for God's sake, don't use pickup lines about parking tickets, but also, be open to the plot twists. Sometimes they're the best part of the story. Oh, and that ring? I said yes. We're getting married next spring. Marvin is the best man. He's still working on his speech. Something tells me it's going to be one hell of a story.